So sorry. Okay. That was clever, for really I wasn't alone a bit. Okay, who's her company? It's the woman in the wall. That was clever, for really I wasn't alone a bit. As soon as it was moonlight and the poor thing began to crawl and shake the pattern, I got up and ran to help her. Okay, so imagine, our narrator, it's moonlight, and she's seeing this woman in the wallpaper start to crawl around. I pulled, and she shook. I shook, and she pulled, and before morning we had peeled off yards of that paper, a strip about as high as my head and half around the room. And then, when the sun came up and that awful pattern began to laugh at me, I declared I would finish it today. We got away tomorrow, and they are moving all my furniture down again to leave things as they were before. Jenny looked at the wall in amazement, but I told her merrily that I did it, out of pure spite at the vicious thing. She laughed and said she wouldn't mind doing it herself, but I must not get tired. How she betrayed herself that time. But I am here, and no person touches the paper but me, not alive. She tried to get me out of the room. It was too patient. But I said it was so quiet and empty and clean now that I believed I would lie down again and sleep all I could, and not to wake me even for dinner. I would call when I woke. So now she is gone, and the servants are gone, and the things are gone, and there is nothing left but that great bedstead nailed down with the canvas mattress we found on it. We shall sleep downstairs tonight and take the boat home tomorrow. I quite enjoyed the room now. It is bare again. Okay, so everything's out of the room but the bed and the wallpaper. How those children did tear about here. What children? There weren't children. This bedstead is fairly gnawed, but I must get to work. I have locked the door and thrown the key down into the front path. I don't want to go out, and I don't want to have anybody come in till John comes. I want to astonish him. I've got a rope up here that even Jenny did not find. If that woman does get out and tries to get away, I can tie her. But I forgot I could not reach far without anything to stand on. This bed will not move. I tried to lift it and push it until I was lame, and then I got so angry I bit off a little piece at one corner, but it hurt my teeth. Then I peeled off all the paper I could reach standing on the floor. It sticks horribly, and the pattern just enjoys it. All those strangled heads and bulbous eyes and waddling fungus growths just shriek with derision. I'm getting angry enough to do something desperate. To jump out of the window would be admirable exercise, but the bars are too strong even to try. Besides, I wouldn't do it, of course. I know well enough that a step like that is improper and might be misconstrued. I don't like to look out the windows, even there are so many of these creeping women, and they creep so fast. I wonder if they all come out at the same wallpaper as I did. But I am secretly, okay, so now she thinks she came out of the wallpaper. But I am secretly fastened now by my well-hidden rope, but don't get me out in the road there. I suppose I shall have to get back behind the pattern when it comes night, and that is hard. Okay, so she has become one with this wallpaper. It is so pleasant to be out in this great room and creep around as I please. I don't want to go outside. I won't even if Jenny asks me to. For outside, you have to creep on the ground, and everything is green instead of yellow. But here, I can creep smoothly on the floor, and my shoulder just fits.
We will be resetting the panel for the fire alarm, so please disregard all alarm systems. Thank you.
And it fits in that long smooch around the wall, so I cannot lose my way. Why, there's John at the door. It is no use, young man. You can open it. How does he call and pound? Now he's crying for an axe. All right, here we go. Actually, that's not too bad. It would be a shame to break down that beautiful door. John, dear, I said, in the gentlest voice, the key is down by the front steps under the plantain leaf. That silenced him for a few moments. Then he said, very quietly indeed, Open the door, my darling. I can't, said I. The key is down by the front door under the plantain leaf. And then I said it again several times, very gently and very slowly, and said it so often that he had to go and see, and he got it, of course, and came in. He stopped short of the door. What's the matter? He cried. For God's sake, what are you doing? I kept on creeping, just the same, but I looked at him over my shoulder. I've got out at last, said I. in spite of you and Jane. And I pulled off most of the paper, so you can't put me back. Now why should that man have fainted? But he did, and right across my path by the wall, so that I had to creep over him every time. Okay, so what did John do when he saw her? He saw her creeping around. She's like, I don't want to get back in that wall, and he fainted. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about some themes here. Our self-expression. Okay, she was never allowed to express herself. She had to restrain herself mentally, and it drove her insane. She could not exercise her mind, and being forced into this resting cure did this to many women. The wallpaper at first was unpleasant. It was this unclean yellow. However, after staring at this pattern for days and days, she notices this sub-pattern. And as it comes into focus, we see this crawling, stooping woman looking for an escape. And that is her. And she notices these bars on the main pattern that's holding the women in. And this wallpaper symbolizes women trying to escape. It represents the famous structure of the hierarchy of men over women, and the wallpaper is meant to demonstrate this. So, again, if someone is already plagued by anxiety, if someone is already depressed, they always need to activate their mind, because this story demonstrates how when a mind deteriorates, it begins to prey on itself. And this is ultimately what happened.